guys, Christian the Haver Card Man coming back at you with another video today, and this one was actually requested to me on Twitter. I don't remember the username, but I will have the tweet right here so you can see that. To do some Machina test hands, I released the deck profile a couple weeks ago, and I've had some of you guys asking for it, and honestly, you guys have just been killing it with support on that video. That deck profile is just crazy, so you guys are super awesome for that. Thank you so much for that. But before we get into today's test hand and combo tutorial video, be sure to go check out all the links down in the description below to all the other channels I'm involved in, such as Team Chaos Stream and the Coalition of Scrubs. And if you haven't heard of the Coalition of Scrubs yet, basically it's another Yu-Gi-Oh channel that I'm a part of, where me and several other Yu-Gi tubers get together and make you guys some awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. So be sure to go check that out. I'll have all of the individual content creators linked down there as well. Be sure to go give them all some love too. They're all awesome people making you guys some wonderful videos. And while you're down there, you might as well click the like and subscribe button to my channel so you can get future content like this, as well as deck profiles, meta-analysis, podcasts, and live streams every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's test hand / combo tutorial. So I'm going to open up here. I'm just going to do a couple of test hands first so you guys can see how consistently this deck opens up to make plays, and then from there I will show you a couple of rigged combo tutorials. So just shuffling up here just so you guys can see I am actually shuffling, and we'll open up our first 5 cards here. So we got a Solemn Strike, Machina Citadel, Machina Meadow Cruncher, and Machina Fortress. So not the most incredible hand, but one that does work. And do keep in mind I have made a couple of changes to this deck. I think all I really did was I took out a couple of the silver / gold gadgets and threw in my last 2 copies of the Machina Meadow Cruncher. So I'm pretty sure that's the only change I've made to this deck. I'll probably correct myself if I'm wrong later on, but I haven't really made much of a change to this deck since that original profile. And if you do want to see the original profile, you can see that in the info card up here. So not a bad hand. You can definitely make plays with this thanks to that Machina Metal Cruncher, as long as you don't get ashed. And if you do still at least have the Machina Fortress play to be able to get your Citadel and Graveyard and do some stuff there, and you have 2 Solemn Strikes to negate some summons. So not a bad hand. So that'd be for going first. If you go second, there's the Machina Redeployment. So there you go. You have plenty of plays right there now with that Machina Redeployment. Definitely allows you to get into a lot more things. That redeployment really enables this deck to do a lot of fun stuff, and I just think it's a beautiful card overall. So shuffling up here for hand number 2 just to show you guys again. All right, so going first, Silver Gadget, Machina Radiator, Machina Gear Frame, 2 Gear Frames, and another Silver Gadget. Okay, so yeah, pretty good hand. I like having the Irradiator. Glad to have that. And then we have the Gear Frame, which will allow us to search. So overall, decent going first hand, because you can just Silver Gadget into your Gear. Well, I guess the Gear Frame needs to be normal summon, so probably not. But there are definitely plays you can make, so there's not even a worry about that. And then if you were going second, a Pot of Avarice. So that's actually pretty good. It would allow you to just basically keep comboing off. So that is pretty handy there. All right, I'm going to do one more test hand here, and then I will go ahead and show you guys an actual combo tutorial with this deck. So it doesn't really do too much in making combos. It's more so an adaptive play style, at least the way that I play. Oh, here, I'll show you. Shuffle up here. Just because it's more responsive and reactive than in anything. And I do kind of prefer it going second for that reason, but it definitely can go first too and set up some stuff if you really want. All right, so shuffled up here, getting our last test hand. Machina Redeployment, perfect. Called by the Grave, awesome. Gold Gadget. So we're really good at drawing multiples of the gadgets, I suppose. And then a Machina Possessed Storage. So actually a really good hand for going first, because this allows you can pitch one of those gold gadgets to the graveyard because you don't need both of them, and then be able to search yourself 2 Machina monsters, so you can pull out like your Radiator and whatever else. You can get some plays with this easy. And then going second, a Silver Gadget. So that's just perfect extension. You could do a lot of stuff with this hand actually. So that's really good. This is actually a really good hand, I'm not gonna lie. So all right, that's it for the test hands. Now you guys can see how well this deck actually pretty well draws. It can brick. It definitely does brick sometimes, but that's just kind of part of the name of the game. So let me go ahead and get set up here with the combo tutorial portion of this video, and we will be right back. Alright guys, here we are for the combo tutorial part, and for this specific combo, this is going to be a going first one, and it's only really a 2-card combo, nothing super insane, and there are actually several different lines of play you can go off of with just these 2 cards, but we'll go ahead and show you here. So it's opening up with a Machina gear frame and a Machina redeployment, which is actually really easy to do, and then just your 3 random cards, which I did shuffle the deck again just in case, so we'll see what they are. So we got a Machina, Radiator, Silver Gadget, and Solemn Strike. So we'll just start off with the 2 cards, getting our normal combo off of that, and then we will use the rest of our hand as extension, because of course you are going to start the game with 5 cards. So we'll open up here, normal summon the Machina gear frame to be able to search. We will go ahead and add well, since we have the Irradiator, we wouldn't probably search it, but for this specific example, we will search the Machina Possessed Storage because we do have a reason to go for it. So then now from here, we can use our Machina redeployment to be able to discard our Machina Possessed Storage and search for 2 Machina monsters. So most hands typically we would not have the Irradiator, and we would search for that with the redeployment, but given that we do have a Radiator in this example, I will not search for it. So this allows us to search. We will definitely need our not Fortress, sorry, we will need our Machina Citadel. And in this specific example, the Machina Aerator. So we got those going for us, which is pretty dang good. So now from this point, alright, Machina redeployment to the graveyard. So we've got this in hand now. So we have Machina Aerator, Irradiator, and a Citadel, as well as the Silver Gadget and the Solemn Strike. So from here, now we can actually use our Irradiator to pitch the Citadel to graveyard and special summon itself in defense mode. Doesn't really matter because this is turn 1 and you're going to be using it anyways. So then from here you can use the Irradiator to target the Machina gear frame. So then now we will be able to special summon our Possessed Storage from the graveyard and destroy the gear frame. So then now we will actually get 2 triggers from our graveyard. Well, not from our graveyard, we'll just get 2 triggers in general. So we'll have the Possessed Storage and the Citadel. We'll probably have Citadel be chain 2, Possessed Storage be chain 1, Citadel be chain 2. So we will resolve backwards. Citadel will special summon itself. So we can special summon that like that, and then Possessed Storage will now target the gear frame and special summon that. So now from here we actually have a few different lines of play that we can go into. Since we do have the Aerator in hand, the best one would probably be to go for a rank 4. And we will pull out the Gear Gigant X, and then we can now actually detach a material from the Gear Gigant X to add a card, level 4 lower machine monster from our deck. So in this specific case, we do have the Silver Gadget in hand, so actually just to provide further extension, well, we do need the Machina card, so we will play the Machina gear frame to our hand, just because we have more copies of that in the deck than the Possessed Storage, and Possessed Storage is easy enough to just kind of relay back around, so not even a big deal there. So with that, now we can use our Aerator to be able to discard the gear frame, special summon itself. So now if we wanted to at this point, we could save the Aerator to be able to go into another monster on our opponent's turn, but honestly at this point we have the rank 8 setup. It would be much better to go this way. So you actually have a few options at this point. If you're going second, the obvious option is most likely going to be the Dingirsu. But I think in this case, we're either going to want to go for the Hope Harbinger or go for the Aegion and the Sea Castrum. Really, at this point, it boils down to personal preference. If you want the Spell Negation for the Disruption, or if you want the Aegion and Sea Castrum. If you're game 2 or 3, you'll probably know more so what would be better to play. Given the current format, I almost want to go the Aegon and Seacaster because it is that extra deck disruption, which allows you to just snipe a card out of their extra deck and then be able to make some stuff off of it. So I think Aegon's probably the better choice. And then from here, you know, it's really just personal preference how you play the rest of this turn. You can easily do a couple different things. If I had an IP Masquerena, this entire turn would be different. Because I would just likely link off the two of these to be able to go into a Platinum Gadget and just make some plays off of that. But it's totally okay that we can't really do that. So I think what we're actually going to do here is we are going to link off our Gigant X and our Machina Citadel just so that we can pull out here the double-headed Anger Knuckle. So that way we can get back our Machina Citadel later on easily enough and be able to use it to disrupt our opponent. That will definitely help out a lot in terms of keeping things flowing. Because you can just send the double-headed Anger Knuckle to the graveyard to recur some stuff. Now, it will bring out the Machina Citadel with its effects negated, but that doesn't mean you can't use it for stuff, so I think it's overall pretty dang good. I am just throwing cards everywhere today. I'm having a great time. So that's kind of a basic test end. I mean, obviously, if you wanted to, you could just skip the double-headed Anger Knuckle part and just leave out your Machina Citadel and your Gigant X as is. Because at this point, really, if you wanted to, you still have the Machina Citadel for disruption. You could pop any of these three for his effect because they are all machines. So you could do that depending on what board your opponent sets up. You could definitely adapt to that situation. Once again, this deck is a little more reactive than anything. Once again, you do still have the Silver Gadget and the Solemn Strike in hand, so you'd be able to set the Solemn Strike, and then you have the Silver Gadget to go into place next turn. Potentially, if you still have the Gigant X on field, you can use that to search for another card. So you do definitely potentially have plays for the next turn, so it's not a huge deal. This deck, it's not usually going to win in one turn, not the way I built it. It does, it can OTK, of course, but this deck also can play a little bit of a longer game. It definitely has some pretty good resource management, so if you're keeping track of that and you're doing that just fine, then really this deck should be able to win a fair number of games if you play just right, because once again, this is a very reactive and responsive deck. Just be careful of things like DD Crow or Called by the Grave, or even Ash Blossom will really hurt this deck a lot. It does fall victim to a lot of popular hand traps, so there is that, but regardless, I think overall it's a pretty fun deck. So I'll do one more combo tutorial here for going second, and we'll just kind of pop off with that. So be right back. Alright guys, so welcome back to the second part of this combo tutorial. This is going to be the going second hand, and I'm actually not going to start off with any specific cards this time because I think showing just specific combos with this deck isn't really right, because once again, this deck is not at all a very linear line of play. It is very responsive or reactive to whatever is going on around it, and it definitely changes based on the environment it's given, what turn it's going, you know, who you're playing, what you're playing against, just all sorts of different things. So we'll go and draw our 6 cards for going second here. So we'll open up with the Machina Citadel, Machina Possessed Storage, Cosmic Cyclone, Heavy Freight Train Derrick Crane, Machina Metal Cruncher, and finally the Gold Gadget. So overall, this is actually a pretty dang good hand. I'm not gonna lie, I really can't be mad about this at all. Let's go ahead and start off with some plays here. So we're going to open up Cosmic Cyclone. Obviously, if we need to get rid of any problematic back row or field spells or whatever, we've got that there to get rid of some stuff. So we'll go ahead and normal summon our Machina Metal Cruncher, and with that, we will also be able to special summon our Heavy Freight Train Derrick Crane from our hand. It is just a nice little extender to be able to have the extra materials, and it is also a level 10 monster that you can use for extra deck plays, which is super good. So we'll get that, and we'll also be able to get our Machina Metal Cruncher's effect to be able to reveal 3 Earth Machine monsters from our deck to our opponent, for them to select one randomly and add to our hand, since we did not open up the Irradiator. So we are just going to go ahead and then reveal all 3 copies of our Machina Irradiator to our opponent. One will get added to our hand, doesn't matter which one. So we'll get all 3 copies of that. And we do have the Possessed Storage in our hands, so this is definitely going to be really nice to be able to get this off. From here now, we can go ahead and... Oops, hello. So we can use now our Irradiator to be able to send our Machina Possessed Storage to the graveyard and special summon him out. Okay, I was wrong. Actually, we do not want to special or discard the Possessed Storage for the Irradiator play. We instead want to discard the Citadel, because what we can actually do from here, we don't have really easy rank set up right now. So we're just going to go ahead and link these 2 off, because what we're going to do here is we'll be able to go into our Platinum Gadget, which we can now use the Platinum Gadget's effect, special summon a level 4 lower machine from our hand to its field. So we'll bring out the Gold Gadget. When Gold Gadget is normally special summoned, we can special summon a level 4 lower from our hand. And since Possessed Storage was special summoned, we can now special summon the Citadel from Graveyard. So we actually have pretty good setup right here. This actually allows us to go further. Once again, if I had the IP Masquerena, this would actually be a perfect setup to be able to link these two into the IP Masquerena and be able to go on your opponent's turn with the Platinum Gadget into a Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax, which would just be an insane board. Obviously, I don't have the Avermax yet because I'm still waiting on the 2020 Megatins, but if you have it, definitely use it. Or if nothing else, if I had the IP, there is also the Unchained Abomination in the extra deck. But of course, we cannot use the Platinum Gadget on our turn as material, so as sad as that is, we kind of have to go with it. So from this point, there is a couple of things we could do, but not really a whole lot. I mean, yeah, we could go rank 4 again and be able to search. So we'll get our Gear Gigant X and be able to detach a material, and then that would allow us to search out. Then we can search out the Machina Gear Frame just to be able to have an extender for later on. Obviously, we've already used our normal summon, so we're not able to get that through, which is totally fine. So actually, what we could do, since we are going second, we would definitely be able to use our Machina Citadel with the Platinum Gadget, so we could use him to pop our Platinum Gadget, and Platinum Gadget's effect would actually allow us to special a level 4 gadget from our deck, which means we would now be able to special summon the Silver Gadget since we've already used the Gold Gadget this turn, and now our Silver Gadget would allow us to special summon our Machina Gear Frame from hand. And now we could use a couple of different things here if we wanted to. We could easily go for the rank 4, that would be just fine. Well, the link 4, sorry. If we wanted to link off the gear frame and Silver Gadget and the Irradiator, we could, because we can build our way up into a Topologic Zeraboros, which could potentially be good. Once again, depending on the situation, if anyone's using Pot of Desires or Extra or anything like that, your Zeraboros can get pretty big, and it can definitely OTK out of nowhere. But really, overall, I think the best play here, the play here would definitely depend on what your opponent has on field. If you have the access, you could easily go into your number 27 Dreadnought with your Gear Frame and your Silver Gadget, so that way if you can attack over one of their monsters, you'll be able to pull out the Super Rail Cannon Gustav Max, or you could go for the Rail Dora. Either way, I do not have a Libya, unfortunately, because that's way too expensive. But, so if you could attack over stuff, you could use the Dreadnought. If you can't quite get there, if you have a really problematic monster on field that you need to steal, you can go for the number 101 Silent Honor Arc to be able to steal that and attach it as material for protection. Or your last option with my specific build anyways, be able to go for the number 60 Dugar's the Timeless. This could allow you to either boost up your Citadel for some extreme damage, you could draw a couple extra cards to try to extend further, or you could just special summon a monster back from the graveyard. Really, any of those methods work, and if you wanted to, you could actually go for the Dugaris to be able to detach both materials from him and actually special summon back from your graveyard the Heavy Freight Train Derricane. I don't think there's a limit on what you can special summon. No, just special summon one monster from your graveyard in defense position. So if you wanted to, then you could go for the Heavy Freight Train Derricane and then be able to go for a rank 10 with your Machina Citadel. And it'd probably be better off going for the Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, of course, just because it is big boy that can deal some battle damage and then deal 2,000 effect damage, and then you can still link off other stuff if you need to. So I think, honestly, if you weren't able to kill this turn, if you went this way, you'd want to detach the Machina Citadel first, because you could actually link off your Gear Gigant X and your Irradiator and be able to bring back your Citadel from graveyard. So, with a double-headed Anger Knuckle, that is. So, that is my combo tutorial for this deck. Like I said, it's purely a matter of play style and what you are running into in terms of the situation. And obviously, feel free to throw in different text and stuff to this deck. I've been testing with it for a while, but mostly off of a pure budget, and mostly with just the cards that were provided in the 30-card pool, plus a few that I bought outside of that. But I didn't go for anything too crazy. There's no, like, big plays in here. There's no whichever the emergency one was, emergency schedule, or whichever one it was, that allows you to special summon 2 monsters right off the bat at the first thing of the turn. I did not go out for those. There was a lot of tech cards that I chose not to go for. You can definitely throw limiter removal in here if you really want to push for the OTK, but I feel like there's a lot better ways to go. And of course, you can play several different variants of this deck and throw in several other engine cards that can do a lot of different stuff. I'm sure if you really tried hard enough, you could probably build a Cyber Dragon version of this deck, which would be very interesting to see. I have been playing Machina Orcus as well, which is a lot of fun. I might do a profile on that if you guys want it, just because it is a lot of fun. But yeah, that's all I got for today's combo tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you to the person who requested this video. You are awesome. I'm really glad you enjoyed the deck profile. And once again, if you guys haven't checked the deck profile, the link is in the description, or it is in the info cards if you didn't see that earlier. But that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys keep up the awesome support. I can't believe how fast this channel's been growing, and it's all because of you guys. You are just extremely awesome, and I love each and every single one of you. So with that being said, remember to have fun and make your move. Peace out.
I'm a love giver.